Good morning, everyone. Welcome to LisaBug Yoga for Neck and Shoulders. You might notice I have a chair out today, and it's going to be something that you can use if your downward facing dogs tend to bother your shoulders. So if you have a chair close by, great. You can also do the wall for that standing downward dog, placing hands on walls, and this is going to give us a great stretch through the shoulders. But of course, if down dog is okay for you, you'll take that option as well. I have blocks, I have straps, and then I also have a little hand towel. And what I want you to do, if you've got your hand towel, is fold it in half a couple times and then roll it and make a really tight little roll. And we're going to use that for some support for our neck and also to give us an extra little stretch in the upper back. So roll that off to the side and set it there. And we're starting standing today. So come onto your mat in a strong mountain pose and just draw those shoulders back. Lift the heart up. Pull some energy up through the ground, really root into your feet and see how tall you can make your body today just by actively lifting and extending and stretching. And I want you to feel two opposing forces on your body. So we feel the force of gravity that's pulling us down into the earth. And I want you from your pelvis downward to feel that gravity and to ground into your feet with strong thighs and strong glutes. And then everything from the pelvis upward, I want you to imagine that you have gravity in your ceiling that's pulling the rest of your body up, upward. And then notice the space between the fronts of your shoulders here, right from the two arm bones. Sometimes this space starts to collapse and the back of our shoulders becomes more broad than the front of the shoulders. So I want you to try to make this distance in the front of your shoulders greater than the distance in the back of your shoulders by pressing those shoulders back, activating the muscles of the upper back. And then slightly engage your abdominals so that you're not in a sway back, but you have a little bit of a tuck through the tailbone. And then we'll just inhale the arms up like a nice V shape, stretch. And then as you exhale, turn your palms and bring the back of your hands behind you any amount. Inhale, the palms sweep forward. And exhale, we pull them back. So we're starting to lift our arms up into that abduction and flexion, and then we add rotation. So as I'm lifting, I'm rotating the shoulders, and then as I'm lowering, rotating the shoulders as well. And we breathe with that, a nice deep breath in, and we breathe out. We'll do one more. Just noticing how those shoulders are feeling. Now we'll add movement of the neck. So as we inhale and reach the arms up, look to the left side. And then as the arms come down, tilt your head to the right. So as I go left, I'm rotating. And as I go right, I'm laterally flexing the neck. So there's two different movements, rotation and lateral flexion. Let's do two more on this side, rotation and lateral flexion. Now just head center, reach up and reach back. Now this time as you lift the arms, rotation to the right, lateral flexion to the left. Rotation right, lateral flexion. This takes a little bit of mind-body connection because we usually just turn our head from side to side or tip our head from side to side. And now we're doing a turn and a tip. So a little bit different movement pattern. Let's do one more of each, turning the head right, tipping it to the left, And then look straight ahead. One more with the arms. And come back to mountain pose. All right, shoulders are still down. Fronts of the shoulders broadening. Bend your elbows a little bit and bring them away from your body somewhat. I like to call this the W arm position. So it's not all the way up to goalpost. The elbows are slightly dropped. And I want you to see how far back you can rotate your hands and then how much you can rotate them the opposite direction. I'm rotating back and then I'm rotating down. Rotating back and down. We're going to add a little light, gentle movement of the head. So as you rotate up, lift the heart and gaze up to the ceiling. And then as you rotate down, just drop your chin down to your chest. And rotate, gaze up. I'm still lengthening the back of my neck when I look up, so I'm not just tossing my head back and shortening the cervical spine. I'm just lengthening the front side of the neck. Two more. And just notice if this feels okay for your shoulders. If you're feeling any pain, shorten that range of motion. And one more time. Then once without the head movement. And then lift the arms back up. Bring them behind the head so the fingertips are just touching the back of the head. I don't have them interlaced and grabbing. I'm just touching. Inhale, pull the elbows way back. And then exhale and draw the elbows in. See if you can touch. If not, that's okay. Pull back and draw in. Now, as you pull back, a little baby back bend. So I'm gazing my head back up again. And as you exhale, bend your knees and round your back like a cat. And then inhale, we'll open, baby back bend. Exhale, round like a cat. So tuck your tailbone under, dropping your chin to your chest and trying to touch your elbows as closely as you can together. So we're working through just a little bit of spinal extension and spinal flexion. Now feel your core muscles activate when you do that standing cat stretch. And let's do one more. Inhale, open. Exhale, cat. And then just the arm movement without bending back or forward. Open. And touch the elbows. Open and hold. And then let the arms relax down by your side. You're back to mountain. Now bring those arms out almost to 90 degrees. Nice long arms. And we'll rotate the body to the right. Look as far as you can over that right shoulder. And then rotate the body to the left. Now you can let your hips move a little bit. You don't have to keep them right to the front. Because functionally in life, our hips are going to move as we twist. A little soft bend in the elbows. So I'm going to change the arms into a wrapping motion very slowly. So as I twist to the right hand comes behind me and the left arm crosses to touch my opposite shoulder. Then the arms open back out. Left hand wraps behind as the right hand touches the shoulder. We are going to do this arm position in our twisting lunges today. So I want you to get familiar with one hand wrapping behind your back, the other hand wrapping to touch the opposite shoulder. Using the breath. And one more each side. Wrap. And wrap. Then just open out to the center, reach. Extend up into Urdhva Hastasana. It's our upward salute. If you'd like, you can also interlace your fingers into the steeple position where I have my index fingers pointing directly up. And try to hug your arm bones right up against your ears. Now, if your range of motion only allows your arms to be this high, that's okay. I want you to come where you have a comfortable position here. And then brace into your feet and tip over to the right side. Look up. Look down. Look neutral. And draw yourself up. Tip to the left side. Look up and down. And neutral and to the center. We'll do that once more each side. If your arms are getting tired, lower them a little bit, or you can even place your hands across your shoulders. We'll stretch to the right. Look up. And down, and neutral, pull up, side stretch left, look up, and down, in neutral, and pull up. Release the clasp of your hands. Either bring your hands to your hips, or you can interlace your hands behind your back. Roll your shoulders together in back behind you and lift your arms up any amount away from the back body. We'll do a half circle movement with the head. So start by tipping your right ear to the right shoulder. Roll down chin to chest. Once you come to the left side, come back to neutral and then reverse direction. So we go left, roll down, right, and center at your own pace, alternating that half circle. You can also hold your yoga strap behind your back as well for this. It feels a little bit better than interlacing hands. Let's go one more each direction, starting right ear, right shoulder. And left ear, left shoulder. And release the clasp of the hands, just let them float up, inhale. Press the palms together above the head, or again, make that steeple position. And then just bend your elbows back behind you. And then straighten the arms. So as we bend, the elbows point up as high as you can to the ceiling. We're getting a little bit of lengthening through the triceps, through the lats. Three more, bend. And extend. Two more, inhale. And exhale. Last one. Separate the arms and let them flow down by your sides. All right, we'll step our right foot forward, left foot back in Warrior One. And just square your hips here nicely. And then we'll take the right hand at your hip. The left arm is going to lift up as we go into a side stretch reach. And then as you come down, bring your hand behind your back with your palm behind you. And then reach up, stretch, and wrap behind. Now another choice is to keep your right hand behind your head, reach up, side stretch, and then revolve that arm behind you. We're trying to come into cow face arms. And then reach up. And to cow face. 2 more repetitions. Really gentle on that shoulder as you rotate. And 1 more. Then hold that cow face position. Lift the heart, pull those shoulder blades back. Abdominals are nicely braced. 2 more breaths. From here, if you need to release your arms, if you want to grab your strap to hold on to it a little tighter in this position, you can do that. We'll straighten out the front leg for a baby pyramid. So I have both legs straight, the spine long, and I'm going to tip forward and start to feel a stretch down the back of that front leg. And you can stop wherever you feel that stretch begin. Just hold and breathe. With each breath, maybe sink a little deeper down into that hamstring stretch. And if the arms are really chatting to you and not in a good way, you can release those hands and just brace here gently on the shin. One more breath. With your strength, pull yourself up. Rebend that front knee so you're back into warrior 1. And then we'll unwrap that back arm, take a side stretch over. And lower it down, bringing the right hand back from behind the head. Let's switch the front leg, stepping forward with the left, back with the right, a slight turn out, hips nice and squared. Left hand to the hip, right arm just sweeps up, inhale. Then as you exhale, rotate. So we did this action at the very beginning of class. That reach up and reach back with shoulder rotation. So hopefully that feels nice and mobile for you, but just go within the range that works. And then your next option, this left hand just stays behind the head as the right arm reaches up and comes back, and we try to find cow face arms. And this is a nice lateral flexion of the spine too, which is great to work and to also release tight quadratus lumborum muscle, that lower back, diamond shape, big muscle in the lower back. Let's do 2 more on this side. And 1 more. And then hold that cow face position. I didn't cue the option of using your strap because the arm was moving, but if you want to grab it now and hold it behind your back, you can certainly do that. And we'll straighten out the front leg and start to hinge forward from the hip into our pyramid, starting out nice and slow. There's a little small micro bend in that front knee. With each breath, maybe coming it down a little deeper, or you can release those hands down to support on your shin or on a block. And we'll take 2 more breaths here. And then inhale to rise. Rebend that front knee into your warrior one. Release the back arm and take a stretch over. And then float down, releasing the left arm as well. And step the feet together into your mountain pose. Pull the shoulders back, palms facing forward, really lengthening through the front of the shoulders. We'll come to the top of our mat, and I have my chair there as an option for downward facing dog. So if you're going to use that chair, make sure that it's not going to slip out from underneath you. I have the legs on my mat itself, so it doesn't slide on the hardwood floor. Now let's inhale, sweep the arms back a little bit, around, up, until the hands reach above the head. And then exhale, reach out as long as you can in front of you. Come down to forward bend. So I can use my chair for forward bend. I can bring the hands down to the floor or to blocks for forward bend. And let's just hold here 3 breaths. And 2 more. Last breath in. And then as you exhale, walk your feet back into down dog. So if you're using your chair, hands go right on top, walk the feet back, extending long through the armpits. Hands can be all the way down to the mat, pressing the feet back. And let's hold 3 breaths in our down dog. And really extend and open through those armpits and broaden through the shoulders on both sides, front and back. Feel the engagement of your core and press the heels down to the earth. 1 more breath. And then on an inhale, lift your right leg up, just any amount. And then rotate your hip so that your right hip stacks on top of the left. You can bend that top knee if you want, really stretch through here. This can be done with your hands on your chair as well. And then as we level out the hips, take a nice big step forward with your right foot coming up toward the top of your mat. And come up into high crescent lunge. With goalpost arms or W arms, pull the elbows back and broaden through the front of the shoulders. Now, remembering the wrapping action that we did earlier in our practice, start to turn toward your right leg, that front leg, and bring your left hand across your shoulder and your right hand behind you. So we're creating this wrap, and you can stay upright, or we can bring the elbow of that left arm down toward your thigh, and it'll brace there as you hold that twist. Now, if that bothers the back arm, it doesn't have to wrap behind you. You can put it on your hip, but try to have this top shoulder open. Back knee can also drop down to the mat to help you with balance. Now, if you're forward in that lunge, start to pull yourself back up. Unwrap, facing forward, reach the arms, nice inhale. Exhale, hands either come to your chair or to the floor to push back to downward dog. Hold and breathe 3 breaths. Extended child's pose is also a wonderful option here for you to take. It's going to give you that same shoulder stretch. And then let's lift the left leg up any height and rotate the hip so the left hip is higher than the right. You can bend the knee if you'd like. That gives me a nice quad stretch there and a nice hip flexor release. And then even out the hips and take a nice big step forward with that left foot up toward the top of your mat. What if the foot only gets this far? We can grab it with our left hand and step it forward. And then finding the balance, you can use your chair here if you need. We'll rise up into high crescent lunge with our goalpost or W arms. Pull those elbows back, broaden through the heart. And then we'll start to come into our wrap. So your right arm will come across the top of the left shoulder and your left arm comes behind you and start to twist. Back knee can drop to the mat for assistance for balance. And we can stay upright or bring that right elbow down closer to the left thigh and hold our twist. Use your abdominal muscles to help you brace. Stabilize with strong feet. Our Pada Bandha rooted into the earth. And then pull yourself back up. And we will unwrap and reach the arms high. Inhale. And then hands go either to your chair or to the floor. Push back to down dog. And stretch. And then we'll inhale and lift that right leg up again. So this can be done from the chair. Bend the knee if you'd like. Open up the hip. Even out the hips. Take a nice big step forward with your right foot. Coming back into your high crescent lunge with our goalpost arms. And then just press palms at your heart as we focus on a balanced pose today, Warrior 3. So start to shift your body weight more into your front leg until you can pick your back foot off the floor, find your balance, square your hips. You can gently use fingertips on your chair. This is a wonderful option, or a wall. And then find some way to stretch your shoulders. So maybe you're pressing the hands back behind you, or interlacing hands behind your back, or just putting hands at your hips so you can draw those shoulders together. One more breath. Step back to your lunge. Reach the arms up, stretch. Now, if you'd prefer not to come into down dog, you can just step forward into a forward bend if you choose, or hands go to the chair or to the mat, coming into your down dog for one more opportunity here. And then repeating on the left side, we can lift that left leg up, rotate through the hip, bend the knee. Wherever you want to go with this pose, whatever your arms, shoulders, and wrists tolerate. And then step that foot toward the top of your mat. Rising up into your crescent lunge with W arms, pull those shoulder blades together. Let the heart shine forward and upward. Then press your palms in and create some pressure between your palms. So feel your pecs engage just slightly. Shift your body weight forward to come off the back foot. Any amount for your Warrior 3. Finding your focal point with your eye gaze, your drishti, and then find some way to stretch your shoulders, whatever that might be for you in this pose. 2 more breaths. And then step back into your high crescent lunge. Last time, sweep the arms up. And then we'll open out into Warrior 2. So we might have been on different legs in terms of where you're facing the camera. So you might want to adjust around so that you can mirror me. And I will call this the right side. So it'll be on your right screen. We'll extend through the fingertips and reach out nice and long. We are just going to move the upper rib cage a little bit. So I'm going to reach out toward the front leg or the right leg, and then reach out toward the back leg. And as I reach out toward the front leg, look that direction. And then as you pull back, look that direction. And I'm not actually doing a side bend. So I'm not bending side to side. I'm shifting my rib cage in a lateral motion. If this bothers your shoulders to have your arms up, you can have them down and do that same exact movement with the rib cage. One more each direction, looking right, pulling back, looking left, and then come right into the middle. We'll bring this right hand down to the thigh, come into side angle pose. So traditional side angle, the arm is up reaching to the ceiling. There's no bending over at your waist, so you're just in a side stretch. And then from there, you can choose whether to come down to your elbow or maybe to a block. And I like to put the block behind my foot rather than in front, because when it's in front, you're going to tend to bend over. So block can go behind the foot, and the top arm can extend and reach. You can also take a half bind with this arm, so you can wrap it behind your back, or a full bind where you reach underneath and try to connect the fingers, or you can just reach that other hand behind you and do an unsupported bind here in your side stretch. So lots of options. Stabilize through the lower body. Your eye gaze can be up, it can be neutral, or it can be down. We'll take one more breath. And then pull yourself back up. Coming into reverse warrior, sun warrior. Stretching the right arm up to the ceiling. Take your gaze up. Left arm can just trace down the outside of your thigh, or it could again wrap behind your back. And then we can curve our spine a little bit more and reach with the fingertips as far as you can to open up the side ribs. One more breath here in our sun warrior. Then coming back to warrior two. And then cross the arms in front of you with the right arm on top of the left. We're just going to hug this right arm in and look over the right shoulder. Second option, instead of just hugging the shoulder in, go ahead and come into eagle arms. And really pull that arm across the front of the body as you're looking to the right. Two more breaths, maybe sinking deeper into that front knee. And then we'll look back to the front, unravel the arms, send them up. Straightening out that right leg, really reach. Prepare for triangle, Trikonasana. So we'll reach this right hand down to the shin, or again to a block. I prefer it to be behind the leg. And reach that arm up nice and high for triangle. Or we can wrap the arm behind the back. And then one more option here for strong core is to wrap that right hand to touch the left elbow or shoulder. So this is that wrap that we did before. And you can almost sense that you're pushing that shoulder back with this hand. Give it a press, take your gaze up, really stabilize here strong. This is a tough one on the core, so if you're feeling any strain in your back, hand goes down and supports. One more breath. Reaching that arm. We put a little bit of a soft bend in this front knee and pull back up, relaxing the arms down. So take a moment to come to the other side and bring my block along with me. We'll come into Warrior Two. Roll those shoulders out a couple of times. I definitely feel some work there and some stretching. And we'll reach the arms out nice and long, or you can cross here. And then just start to move your rib cage. So we'll shift the ribs toward the front leg, our left, and then shift the ribs toward the back leg. So you're feeling this stabilizing with the pelvis and a lateral sliding side to side of the rib cage. As we go towards the left, the front leg, look that direction. As we go to the back leg, look that direction. And kind of in your mind, just think that maybe someone is pulling you gently and you're creating a little bit of resistance, a little tug of war back and forth, very gently. Let's do one more each direction, looking to the left over that front leg, reach and pull back, looking to the back leg. And then come center, hold. Beautiful. We have a side angle pose. So we'll start by just dropping this hand down to the leg, bending to the side a little bit and reaching straight up. So you can certainly stay right here. Or start to grow this wherever it feels comfortable for you. You can slide down to the elbow. The arm can reach closer to the ear. It can wrap behind the back. You can move onto your block at any height. You can do a full bind by wrapping the arm underneath and reaching. Or take both hands behind your back and hold your side angle pose. And you might do something different on this side than you did to the right, depending on your strength and your flexibility. One more breath here. And again, if you're feeling any stress, you should support. And then pull yourself back up. We'll come into that reverse warrior. So the palm lifts. The arm lifts, the hand can just trace the outside of the thigh, or it can wrap behind the back. And then we can create any amount of tweaking in this pose to feel more stretch, feel more extension through the spine, more release through the shoulders. 2 more breaths here. A very regal pose, very beautiful. And then coming back down, reaching out long with the arms to Warrior Two. Then straightening the front leg, preparing for triangle. We do our little side bend, and again, the fingertips can just touch wherever they land. Or this top arm can wrap behind the back. You can support on your block here, or we will wrap ourselves with this bottom arm coming down and around, pressing the shoulder back, taking your gaze up skyward. 2 breaths. And then we'll soften through that front knee. Rising back up, our final Warrior Two. And then relax the arms down. And then coming into a lunge where this front leg is, just pivot off that back heel a little bit. And then once you reach the floor, step back to hands and knees. And take a brief child's pose here, dropping the forehead down and stretch. And then rise back up from that child's pose. And I had you get a little hand towel ready to go. So that is rolled up in a little roll. And you're going to just set that there on your mat. And that's going to give you a little bit of a pillow as you come to a sideline position. And extend your bottom shoulder out. And just rest the side of your head right there on that little hand towel roll. So bringing the palms to touch one another, start to separate them and just reach that top arm to the ceiling. And then see how far back behind you you can reach it. And you're going ahead and adding a little twist here. And then come back up. And let the palms find one another again. And then we'll do that once more. Inhale, open. And I'm keeping my knees stacked, but it's okay if they come apart a little bit. And then come back and close. Now the next time we do this, instead of going straight up to the ceiling, trace the arm above the head. So it's coming next to the ear. Open, and you're making a half circle on the floor with your fingertips. And then revolve back around. And we'll do one more here. And then once you reach back to the center, we'll bring that top knee into the chest, hug it in. See if you can reach your ankle. If that's not accessible for you, you can place your yoga strap around your ankle and then bring that leg back behind, coming into a little bit of a thigh stretch. So when we hold on to our ankle, we can hold on to it two different ways. So right now I have my palm facing down and I'm holding on to the outside of my foot. If you want a little bit more stretch through this top shoulder, turn your hand to face your palm up to the ceiling and grab the inside of your foot. And this is going to open up through that front shoulder. And we'll take two more breaths. And then gently release the ankle, stack the knees, and you can either roll over to face the other direction, or if you'd rather stay facing the screen, press yourself up and come along with me as we go to the other side of your mat. Make your little pillow there for the outside of your head, stacking your knees. The bottom arm reaches through, so you're gently laying on that shoulder. Hips are stacked, shoulders are stacked, hands are stacked. And this first time we'll just go straight up through the center and twist open and see how far you can reach that arm behind you. And then bring it back up, closing those palms together. And one more, reach and open. You can add a big inhale there. And then exhale, come back to center. Next one, we trace that little rainbow above the head. I need to create a little more room for myself here. Open, open, open. And then reverse that half circle, coming back around. And one more time. Inhale, open. Create the circle. Drop that top shoulder down toward the mat. And slowly make your way back to starting position. Then we'll take this top knee and hug it right up toward the chest. See if you can reach the foot on the outside, or this is where you'll have your strap. You'll just place that underneath the foot and hold on to the strap. And then bring it back and stretch your quad behind you. You also have that other option of turning your palm the opposite direction. So palm can be down or the palm can turn up, and you can grab the inside of your foot as you open up into this quad stretch. And take a few breaths here. A slight tightening of that glute on the top leg will help you release the muscle. And one more time, inhale. Exhale. Release the foot and restack those knees. And then rolling over onto the belly, you're going to use that little hand towel to support your forehead. So that will keep your head in a straight position without your nose touching the mat. So hand towel right on the forehead, arms next to the side of the body. We are going to come up into Locust. So start to lift the arms up behind your back body any amount. And your palms can press up to the ceiling. You can turn your palms in towards each other. You can interlace your hands behind your back. You can bring your yoga strap behind your back. So anywhere here that you can stretch your shoulders comfortably. And then on an inhale, lift the upper back up. Your head still stays neutral, so try not to look forward and pinch the back of your neck. Keep your chin tucked. And then come down until your forehead touches the mat. You can also do this with your arms on the floor and just lift up with the chest. Inhale. And exhale. You can also do this with one or both legs lifting up off the mat. Rise up. And down. Last option, we'll add a turn of the head on each repetition. So as we come up, look to the right side. And down. Lift up, look to the left side. And down. One more each direction. Strengthening the back body. Opening up the shoulders. And moving the cervical spine through rotation. Last one. And rest. Bring the palms of the hands right underneath your shoulders to use the strength of your arms to press yourself back up and into child's pose. Dropping the forehead down to the mat. And then in our child's pose, keep your elbows down on the mat if you can. If your forehead doesn't touch the mat, you can take that little hand towel that you had and set it under your forehead while your elbows are on the mat ahead of you. Press the palms of your hands together and bring your thumbs behind the back of the head any amount. And once you get there, you can maybe inch your elbows forward a little bit more on the mat to get a better stretch. And perhaps eventually your forehead will come down to find the floor. And you can remove that hand towel. And you can be sitting all the way back onto your heels with the glutes, or you can be in more of a puppy pose as I am with the hips stacked over the knees. And we'll take one more breath here. Nice and full, exhaling it all out. And then straighten your arms back out. Walk those palms back underneath your shoulders to gently press yourself up. And then as we prepare for Shavasana today, our final relaxation, I'm going to give you the option to use this rounded hand towel. And we are going to place it right between our shoulder blades. It's going to give your heart a little lift. So the bigger the hand towel you have, it's going to give you a little bit more of a lift. You can also use a block if you'd like, but this is a little bit more soft as we come into Shavasana. So for you too, if you're using this behind the shoulder blades, you also might need a block or something behind the head or a little bit of a blanket. So take your time to come into a comfortable place. And these are just options today. Maybe you're just coming down onto your back for meditation in another way that feels more comfortable. So as we roll down onto that little hand towel, it separates the shoulder blades. You might have to kind of fidget around on it to get it in the right spot. And it allows the sides of the back of the shoulders to drop down to the mat and the heart to lift. Your arms here can be in W arms, goalpost, or you can have them down by your side or out like a T. So I want you to find a comfortable place here. And then with the legs, your choice. You can keep your knees bent and walk your feet a little wider than your knees and just let them fall into touch. Or we can reverse that and bring the soles of the feet together, allowing the knees to open in Supta Baddha Konasana. Or we can extend the legs out nice and straight into a traditional Shavasana position. So once you've found that sweet spot, that comfortable place, just close your eyes and we'll focus on breathing into the heart center. So as you inhale, fill up the lungs so that your heart rises up toward the sky. And then exhale and release any tension in your neck, shoulders, and upper back. And our first several breaths will be very deep, very expansive. You should feel your rib cage lifting and separating, the lungs filling. And you can continue with as many of these full breaths as you'd like, or eventually allow that to dissipate a little bit to more of a natural breath flow. And then open your mouth just a little bit and make the sound like you were fogging up your glasses. So you slightly constrict the back of your throat, making that sound. Do it a couple times with your mouth open. And then try to do that same sound with your lips closed. And that is the Ujjayi breath. And notice how that allows your breath, your exhale, to slow down. It almost creates the sound of the ocean in your ears, sometimes known as the whisper breath. And let's take 3 more. And then you can remain as you are for as long as you'd like this morning. If you need some extra time in quiet meditation, just remain there. Or prepare to rise by wiggling your fingers and toes. Perhaps reaching the arms above your head, take a nice full body stretch. And we can bring one knee at a time up to the chest. Or you can choose to take both knees up to the chest. And then either rolling to the side or using one or both knees to help you roll up, pull up to neutral, and come to a comfortable seat. Eyes can be closed for a couple more breaths just to check in. Noticing the energetic properties of your yoga practice this morning. And give yourself some positive feedback and recognition for a job well done and for making yourself a priority in your morning. And we'll take a breath together. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Press the palms of the hands to draw down into an Anjali Mudra at heart center. And the light and joy that resides within my heart honors the light and joy that resides within each and every one of your hearts. Thank you for joining me this morning. Namaste. Have a wonderful rest of your day. You can stay on with me for a little bit of a debriefing. We'll chat. And remember to send me messages if you have ideas for express classes on YouTube. Thanks so much, everyone. See you tomorrow.